I actually didn't catch up on that. It's in free fall, but why? Let's see if we can find out why. Meta shares plunged more than 22% on Thursday morning after the Facebook parent reported the prior day that its revenue declined last quarter and missed analyst expectations. The bad news comes as the social media giant pushes harder into the metaverse, the 3D virtual world that inspired the company's leadership to change its name. Not everyone's sold on the change, and the numbers coming out of Meta and the broader macroeconomic environment certainly don't help matters. There's also a messaging problem here. MKM Partners Managing Director Rohit Kulkarni told Yahoo Finance live on Thursday. They're making progress versus Apple and TikTok, and they're getting hit on macro as well as metaverse. Meta's earnings report and sinking shares mark just the latest bad news for big tech. Even the sector's biggest names, including Alphabet and Microsoft, have been rattled by hawkish Fed and inflation squeeze that's made its way to consumers and Forex headwinds. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. Also, wanted to say, what was that? Thanks for the follow, Raymond. Welcome to Sons on Twitch. How are you doing today? But Meta still stands apart. The company changed its name only a year ago, signaling its pivots towards the metaverse. The division that oversees the company's metaverse, Reality Labs, has also been losing money, with Wednesday's report revealing a loss of $3.7 billion last quarter compared to $2.6 billion in the same quarter last year. Ultimately, there's a nagging sense among company watchers that Meta is missing something right now, a crucial time for it and big tech as a whole. The company has stepped away from its core business, possibly due to fears about growing competition in the social media space. Nothing they spoke about yesterday actually is the business that today is worth $300 billion market cap, she told Yahoo Finance Live on Thursday. It's almost like Mark Zuckerberg has walked away from the core business that's historically made all the money. So he did some sort of announcement. And they didn't talk about Facebook, I guess. And because he talked about virtual reality, it went down. Is that what I'm gathering here? I mean, that's what it sounds like, which makes sense. I mean, what is like at the end of the day, what are all these companies right now? And we have to pay attention to this. We talked about with Google, right? In ad revenue. Obviously, I'm being impacted by that directly too. So I see it, right? We're down $6,000 in less than 28 days in revenue, right? As a content creator. And what is a majority of that? A majority of that is not a majority. All of that is advertising revenue. Okay. So we've lost pretty much all of our advertising revenue in the span of 28 days. And that's being revealed. Like, obviously these companies sell ads at the end of the day, and they're all plummeting. Why are ads plummeting? Ads are plummeting because people are not spending money as frivolously as they used to, right? Because things are getting more expensive. Energy costs are skyrocketing, food's skyrocketing, and everybody's having to pay for the essentials. So therefore, there's not as much money to spend on some advertisement for whatever it is in front of a YouTube channel or a Facebook ad. So that's really like, disposable income is going away. Therefore, ads don't have as high of a CPM. And that's pretty much how this works. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's fully expected to kind of happen in this manner. And I do think it gets worse, right? So the shifts for content creators are going to get very, very interesting. I think like providing content value is obviously the most important thing. I think somebody like Timcast has done a really good job at moving people over to an alternative platform, for example. Somebody like Joe Rogan that cut a really good deal with Spotify before this happens, puts himself in a pretty decent position as well. Unless, of course, Spotify just starts to tank, which could be a whole other problem.
Hey, good money.
But these moves are going to get really interesting. I think you're going to see a lot of content creators go away. And I could be one of those too. I'm going to try to make the shift, and we're going to see. It should be really fun at the end of the day, at least to learn a lot about this shifting landscape, especially as it pertains to what I would, what is going to essentially be a completely parallel economy with cryptocurrency. And I'm going to be really digging into that, especially as it pertains to like content creation, revenue generation, etc., because I think that is where things are headed inevitably, right? Like, I think everything gets more decentralized under cryptocurrency. And I think like content creation will be kind of one of the first things that really starts to take hold. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of strife surrounding it. So I think that you're going to see a lot of pushback from companies like Google, like Amazon, etc., and Meta, right? And definitely the government, right? Sanctioning all that sort of stuff. It's going to be really interesting.